Dear Heavenly Father, we come before your throne, first of all, with a grateful heart for everyone who is under the sound of my voice, who did not count it robbery to come together as one community, under this sun and under this moon and under this stars in this galaxy at this time. Bring us all together, Lord, and join us in the same hearts and minds, that today as we preside over this meeting, that we will do so in the spirit of love, in the spirit of compassion, in the spirit of oneness. Let us be civil and be reminded of whose children we are, so that we are able to stand in line for the inheritance that you have promised us. For you said that you have the treasures of the wicked stored up for the righteous. Amen. And the only thing that we have to do to get that treasure is just to be righteous. And so that is what we ask. In the name of our precious Father and Creator. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're on approval of the minutes from, go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Yeah, excuse me, Vice Mayor. Just to correct the agenda on approval of the minutes forwarded to the council for approval and for consideration are the September 11th, 2019 first budget hearing minutes, the September 25th second hearing budget minutes, and the regular council meeting of September 25th.
All right, I need a motion to approve those minutes.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded. Show minutes being approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Show the minutes being approved. We're on order of business. Are there any items that need to be taken out of, pulled, or added to the agenda?
Excuse me, Vice Mayor. I do have two add-on items for the agenda. Add-on item number 1, which is a waiver of fees for the FMU alumni picnic. Respectfully, without any oppositions, I ask that that item be added to the consent agenda as 11.6.
Mr. Clerk, do we have copies of those?
Yes, it's with the documents paperclip before you.
Which item, Mrs.?
Add-on item number 1, FMU alumni picnic.
That's 19-124?
Yes, 19-124.
Okay.
All right, if there's no objection, show it added
As 11.6.
at 11.6.
All right. And the second add-on item is for music in the park. I'm asking that that be added to the consent agenda as 11.7.
There's no objection, show it added as 11.7. We're on special presentations. Mr. Wilson, Mr. Williams?
Not all of my group is here yet. Okay, one of the things that we pride ourselves in the city of Miami Gardens is not only working with our law enforcement agency, but working with other law enforcement agencies in our agreements that we have with different cities. And for the third year, we have had the Women in Law Enforcement, and we've honored those women. And I think we met about a month ago in Miami Lakes to honor women from 12 different police agencies. Today, we want to give them the final piece of that event. And I'm going to call the ones that are here at the moment to come down front. And we'll pick up on the rest of them. So from the Public Defender's Office, Marjorie Alexis, she here? Okay. Also, Latrice McMurray. Okay. You can just stand up front for us. We have something for you there, Kevin. Miami-Dade County. Stephanie Daniels, Assistant Director. North Miami Police Department, Pickney, Jacqueline. Miami Gardens Police Department, Diana Hedrick. Miramar Police Department, Commander Carlette Dubison. Broward Sheriff Department, Vicki Kendrick. Broward Sheriff Department, Nidra Gabriel. And Broward Sheriff's Department, Patricia Williams. Pinecrest PD, Nichelle White. And Miami-Dade School PD, Lavia Paul. Okay. Got it, Kevin? So can we come down and take a picture with them? But we want to commend these great female law enforcement officers for the great work that they do, for the, go ahead.
I'm gonna excuse
Oh, okay.
the
Well,
commissioner. That's okay.
Two other people I want to bring down, well, two other groups. I want to bring down our police chief, Delma Pratt, and I also want to bring John and Belinda Ziegler down. Are they here? Ms. Ziegler was really, really instrumental in pulling our Broward Sheriff's Department together for this event.
Need us to come back. Everyone gets a book and pictures of the 8.5 level, all the shots that were made at the event. Are there any other special presentations? No more special presentations? All right, we're on public comments. Since we have so many tonight, and it looks like there's a lot for one item, I'm gonna call those the items that the public comment cards that no one put a item on. So Tariq Smith.
All right, I'm here today because I had a problem with the inspector. Got a big, I try to stay out of people's stuff, you know, when you're talking in the community or whatever. But this hit my heart so heavy. My grandma's house was burnt down years ago. I actually took Miami Gardens to court and came back to the board. The board allowed us to keep the house. My grandma was ripped off over $100,000 from a contractor. I took it in my power to take the house and actually, you know, start watching all the steps to make sure when we spend money now, it's not gonna happen. I called for inspection after I had a roofer come put up the truss and the sheathing. And I called the inspection in myself. This guy come out and he denied the sheathing. I was fine with that. If it's not done properly, I was fine with that. So then we go inside. He didn't want to do the truss because he said he couldn't see. So I said, look, I knock out all the boards that's covering the windows, and we can go ahead and get it done. No. This is what hit me. You got the money to do this? He asked me, do I have the money to finish the project? It was none of his business. What's bothering me is you asking the wrong questions, but then I look around the corner, and he was Spanish. I look around the corner, all the Spanish people houses going up. Every time I do something, I got a red tape. I come to the office, I got to go back and forth to do this, and run around like a contractor. And when I talk to contractors, they going through the same thing. It don't make sense. It's too much red tape. So I'm asking that if these people don't want to work, I don't know why they hiring them. Then you asking all the wrong questions when you was only had 1 or 2 things to do. So the next time I just coming here to make it known. The next time I'm not going to a supervisor. I'm not talking. I'm going straight to the courthouse and just file lawsuits. And I think that's all Miami Gardens want, is straight lawsuits, because everybody complaining, but ain't nothing getting done. So, you know, and I'm speaking on behalf of elderly that I know that's going through the same thing with their properties, and the young ones. So, you know, I just wanted to put that out there that it's something that need to be addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Nicole Betty.
Good evening, council members. I'm here again today to speak about the home-based businesses licensing fees. After doing some research, I found that there are a couple of other cities are not charging as high a licensing fee for home-based businesses as Miami Gardens is. And also if they could consider eliminating a fee for home-based businesses. The last time I was here, the mayor mentioned someone making $1,000 a month in, you know, transactions for their home-based businesses, but that is probably a minority, not majority of home-based businesses. So if they can reconsider their stance on that particular city ordinances of having to have a license or a tax or whatever fees they have associated for home-based businesses, and consider even reducing or eliminating the fee, that would be great. Also, I would like Miami Gardens to have more opportunities for networking for home-based businesses, or even just businesses in Miami Gardens like other cities do have. They have events where business owners or startups can meet and even have contracts or contacts within the city to do business and be prosperous, because that's what we're all looking for, prosperity. So if Miami Gardens can consider that as well. Along with, there's another comment I have regarding Miami Gardens, the housing that they have, I believe, is it on 12th Avenue? there's a building right there on 183rd Street by the Turnpike that I think can be turned into a really good botanical garden that would actually give more credentials to the city of Miami Gardens being a garden kind of based city. And if they could kind of develop that into kind of a tourist-based attraction or something that's good for the residents, like a botanical park, or like West Park has done something similar in having a fruit and spice park in their city, and they really don't have as much land space as Miami Gardens does. So if they can consider that as well, that would be nice to have a place to, you know, that is safe and beautiful in Miami Gardens, besides just the regular parks. So just those few things that if you guys can consider, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Betty. I'm gonna have someone speak with you in the back of the room, okay?
Okay.
Dory Smith. Dory Smith. Yeah, it probably is Derek.
Everybody want me. My name is Derek Smith. I'm a Supreme Roofing Construction, 2600 Northwest.
Hold on, Derek. Speak it to the mic.
Oh, okay. Derek Smith, Supreme Roofing and Construction, 2600 Northwest 155th Terrace. The young man that spoke, that's actually my cousin. That's Derek Smith. He's talking about my grandmother's house. I've been having these same problems with these same inspectors as a contractor. I've been in business December 1st, it'll be 15 years, and nothing has been done. I never spoke on it because I thought it would get better. And when that happened to my grandmother's house, that kind of hit home. So I had him to come speak because I can't tell the story like what he went through because I wasn't there, was out working. But yeah, these are real issues. These are the issues that we've been having, and we really need to address them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Geneva Dean.
Good evening. My name is Geneva Dean. I live at 16020 Northwest 28th Court. I'm here today. I've been here about 3 months ago regarding this issue in reference to the community in our neighborhoods. It's involved with the fence, boats, and trailer houses that's going up in our neighborhoods. The concern that I have is that these things can affect our community. The value of your homes, the structure of it, and it just can affect the living environment around our homes. My question, the fence that's going up now, the luminals, I noticed that they have the panel side to their homes and the pole side to the opposite, to the neighbors, which I think that is very not acceptable. There should be unity in this, the way that they're going to install the fence, and be considerate and concerned with your neighbors. Now, the boats, we had one boat that was there big as a yacht. Now you're gonna have a boat on the side of your home. You got a fence, you got the boats and everything else going up. Who wants that? That brings down your community, the value of your home. Then you got these trailer homes in the back. You look at your backyard and you enter in your home and you in the community looking around, trailer houses, boats, and all of these things are just ridiculous and not acceptable. So I'm asking, I spoke to Mr. Diaz in building, and he had no answer and then he switched me to a young lady in zoning. was so emotional, and I guess we lost each other, she hung up or whatever. And I've been trying to get some answer with this because this is affecting my home. I have pictures and everything where I've been working hard in my yard landscaping. Now I have this fence with all the poles all around me, and it's just not fair.
Let me get someone from code enforcement to speak to you in the back of the room, okay? If you don't mind. I'll have someone speak to you in the back of the room.
Okay.
Thank you. Ursula Harris.
Good evening. My name is Ursula Harris. I reside at 16321 Northwest 17th Court. I would like to know if there could be a program implemented to assist the citizens of Miami Gardens who do not have driveways to be able to get driveways to their liking and be on a payment plan to repay. If there could be a concrete company that the city could have a contract with who would do the driveways. That's my problem. And also the senior citizens in my neighborhood. I have an 84-year-old next door neighbor and a 92-year-old across the street, and they don't have driveways. And for them to get driveways, they're on a fixed income.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Ricky Amarui. Ricky Amarui. It's Omorui. No? First name Ricky? Anybody? No Ricky. Dr. Norman White. All right, next will be Miss Mary Reeves.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. I'm here. My name is Dr. Norman White. My address is 16505, Miami, Florida, 33166, P.O. Box. The reason why I'm here, I'm the Vice President of the Miami-Dade Democratic Black Caucus. I'm standing also on behalf of the local chapter, the South Dade Democratic Black Caucus and the Black Caucus of Florida. We're here to basically object respectfully to the Formula One racetrack. And so we're standing here with Honorable Betty Ferguson and the community in the city of Miami Gardens to object. So we respectfully urge that the council take note of this and vote no. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Mary Reeves.
Good evening. My name is Mary Reeves. I reside at 1521 Northwest 168 Terrace. I'm here today to commend Madam Odom for bringing forth the resolution regarding the Formula One. Thank you for hearing our cries. Thank you. I object to the Formula One racing. I pray that each of you would consider and listen to our cries. I ask that you remember that you are our elected officials, and we look to you to support and help us in this endeavor. I thank you, and may God bless each and every one of us.
Thank you, Ms. Reeves. Since we're on Formula One racing now, we have a lot of cards here. So we're going to hold everybody to 2 minutes on these comments. Commissioner Jordan?
Good evening. I'm not sure if you all have the same protocol. I'm Barbara Jordan, reside at 2251 Northwest 188th Terrace, Miami Gardens. Not only am I the elected official representing the city of Miami Gardens for the county, but I am also a resident of Miami Gardens. I come here before you tonight to really thank Councilwoman Lily Odom for sponsoring the item that's on the agenda. And I'm really pleased to see that it's on your consent agenda, which tells me something in itself about this council. But I want to point out to you a couple of things. This is my 15th year as a commissioner representing District 1. And in the 15 years that I've been on the commission, every item that has been requested by the Miami Dolphins, I have sponsored, except this one. The reason being, this is my community. This is my community, and I know that what has come over the years from the Dolphin Stadium has been a lot of economic development, a lot of good things that support our community. But there comes a time when you have to take a stand when you feel that something is not right for the community and not right for the people. And this is one of those times. Let me say that when I was first approached about having the meeting about sponsoring something or approving for Formula One to come, they came to me with a sheet of paper showing a picture. The next time I requested that before I would support anything, I needed to hear from my community. And we had a meeting at Carroll City Senior High where we had approximately 60 or more residents to show up because of parking issues. And overwhelmingly, the attitude and the feedback was negative. And at that meeting, the presentation, I felt the presentation was very disrespectful to the community because a presentation was made verbally using 3x5 index cards, sitting down. No photos, nothing. We then had a second meeting at Carroll City where it was a more professional. Norland. Thank you. That's the senior citizen. We then had a meeting at Norland where staff stopped taking signatures at 273 residents that showed up. I asked at the end of the meeting, because we heard all of the pros and we heard the cons, and the cons far outweighed the pros in terms of the health of the community when it came to noise, pollution, light, and other things. This race has already been rejected downtown from the community residents. And at the end of the meeting, I then asked the question, anyone wishing to support this race coming to the community, please stand. Out of all of the people there, only one stood. So I had my message of what direction I needed to take from the community. Let me say to you, I have an item on the agenda on the 29th of October, and I would hope everyone will show up to that meeting, because that meeting is also about Formula One on the county level. And the reason that it's critical for you to show up, and I don't know if you have received it or not, but a notice went out through the Dolphins to members, ticket holders. I have received over 2,000 emails supporting Formula One as a commissioner. And I know the other 12 commissioners sitting on the commission have received the same. But I asked those 2,000 people and anybody else who sent an email, do you want it in your community? So I respectfully, I'm happy, first of all, that you have this on your consent agenda. And again, I can't thank Councilwoman Odom enough for her leadership in putting this item on. And my condolences to Councilman Leon for the passing of his family member. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Madam Commissioner. Robert Holland.
I'm Robert Holland here on behalf of Hard Rock Stadium, and I'm not here to object to any of the expressions that are going to be presented to you tonight. I'm only here to try to see if we can at least at some point sit down to see if community concerns can be addressed a little more deeply to see if there's even the possibility of making something happen. So what is my community connection? Most of you probably know me as Commissioner Ferguson's former chief of staff, and it's like my second mother, and I know when she lights a fire, she lights a fire. That much I know. And I'm also here very strong support of Commissioner Barbara Jordan, who I think is one of the hardest working county commissioners that the county has had. And so when I look at this city, I was a part, along with Commissioner Ferguson, with the creation first of Destiny and then the city of Miami Gardens. And we know the battles that took place there. Many people opposed it, but they were the fear of change. Now look at the city of Miami Gardens. You're the largest African American city in the state of Florida. You're quickly becoming the nation's entertainment capital. So you have, right now, you have pro football, you have Super Bowls, you have pro soccer, you have jazz in the gardens, you have international concerts, possibly Formula One. Currently, I serve as the lead attorney on the 35 acres next door. On the 35 acres next door, you have 2 black hotels that are being built by black owners. A live band R&B restaurant for 25 and older. You have a high-end food court that's going to cater to Caribbean chefs out of this community to be on that site. You'll have ice skating, roller skating, movie theaters, zip lining, sports bars, restaurants. This is becoming your downtown. And so when you look at any other black city around, most of them cannot brag about this kind of activity operating in the city. You are becoming an entertainment mecca. And so the question becomes, for years we always talk about the black flight that left our community. Most of our young professionals, when they finished school, would not come back. Most of them wouldn't come back because there were no opportunities for them, there was nowhere for them to kind of live, work, and play. When our black professionals come back now, most of them go to Brickell, Wynwood, not the design district, but Midtown, because they can live, work, and play there. We have an opportunity to create a mecca here for African American folk in this community. Now, I'm not saying that you have to support Formula One, but there's a settlement agreement between the stadium and the county and others that gives them the legal right to do racing on that site. No.
Hold on. We're not going to do that.
And so my only thing is, if they have that legal right to do the racing, and they're asking for this stretch of land, this roadway from 27th Avenue to the Turnpike, in exchange for all kind of community benefits that you can sit down and extract from it, why not at least sit down and see? And if you can, you can. But don't kill it so quick before you sit down and try to force it to the table to deal with the air quality issues, to deal with the noise issues, to deal with management in that stadium being African American, some of the management there, to deal with a management training program, maybe at Florida Memorial, to deal with some technical training for young kids. To me, we have to start building this community to create the capacity to fill jobs as well. Now, I'm not saying that in the end it's something that gets done. What I'm saying is at least sit down and force yourselves to make them put some things on the table to see if it's something the community will benefit from. And if you don't get those benefits, you guys still have all authority in the world to say no, at least that stretch of land, that's a big understanding. So to me, it's just, let's think broader, let's think bigger, but we do have great opportunities to do something. Force it to the table.
Thank you, Mr. Holland. Arrow Law.
Good evening, elected officials and Mr. Manager, staff. This Formula One racing was run out of downtown Miami because they didn't like it. Most of us here in Miami Gardens feel the same way. Some years ago, a fellow by the name of Sanchez helped put together a team that built a track for racing in Homestead, Florida. Now, any monies that they had promised that would come to Miami Gardens, let them use that to remodify whatever they want to do with racing in Homestead, which is what they built it for. I'm sure that if this was not a minority city, this issue wouldn't even come up because nobody else will have it. It's always a promise about jobs. They promised jobs when they were building the Port of Miami Tunnel, the University of Miami Medical Center in Overtown. Jobs that are never career-oriented. We don't have hotels or nightlife here. And what most of them do, when they do come even to the Super Bowl, they spend their money in South Beach, Little Havana, Fort Lauderdale, other places. If the money, folks, in this town meant any good towards Miami Gardens, you would see them pushing for things that we've asked for many years. A rail system up 27th Avenue to the stadium. But what we get instead, you look up, they're going to run a rail system all of a sudden to Aventura and Miami Beach. You go figure. So if anything else, the benefits that they're saying that we would have here, you'll see the same thing when the Super Bowl come and go.
Thank you, Mr. Lawton. Okay, everybody, 2 minutes. When that bell go off, you cut it off. And let's please stop talking out of turn. Let's respect each other. Who's ever at this podium, allow them the opportunity to say what they have to say. Ms. Bernice Belcher Miller. And after Ms. Miller, it'll be Clara Duncan.
Talk fast, I can stay within 2 minutes. Good evening to the council members in your respective places. The statistics have been given. We know the cause and the effects. Therefore, I, Bernice Belcher Miller, say no to Formula One in the greatest city of Miami Gardens. And thank you, Sister Odom, for taking such a brave stand.
Raymond Keville. Carvey. I'm sorry, Ms. Duncan, it's your turn. It is, it's your turn. Yeah. He can wait over.
Good afternoon. My name is Clara Duncan, and I live at 19420 Northwest 17th Avenue, Miami Gardens. I've been a resident of this community for 32 years, and I just want to tell everyone in this room that I definitely oppose Formula One coming to this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carville. Amy Coleman, Annie Coleman. Amy Coleman is next.
Good afternoon. My name is Raymond Carville. I am the Miami Garden Neighborhood Watch president, and I'm here to represent that umbrella. And I also want to tell each one of you that it's very important that we continue to stay unified and not allow outsiders to divide us. And I thank very much Councilwoman Lady Q. Autumn for bringing this item up because it's very, very important. I'm a retired City of Miami bomb technician, deal with an explosive device. And one thing that I've learned is that jet fuel is a very toxic entity that has been used in those vehicles, and we do not need it in our community. And I thank you very much. And as, again, the president for the Miami Garden Neighborhood Watch and all of our presidents are present. Please stand. Those of you who are here. Again, we are unified. It's not a division. We are here to unify, to let Councilwoman know we support you, and thank you very much for bringing it up.
Benjamin Essence, you're next. Amy.
Amy Coleman.
Coleman is not.
Hello, my name is Amy Coleman, and I live at 2841 Northwest 212 Street, Miami Gardens. I'm here. I'm supporting Councilwoman Lily Odom, and I say no to Formula One because it would be with the racing. It would be right there where it's in our bedroom community, and it can cause serious environmental health problems, and I still say no to Formula One.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Vanessa Wilcox. Benjamin, you're up. You're after Benjamin.
Good evening, council members, staff, and citizens of Miami Gardens. My name is Benjamin Essien. I reside at 4715 Northwest 157th Street in Miami Gardens. I want to start my comments by saying that what you don't know can definitely hurt you. Most of you are in the education system and you say you are always fighting for children, you are fighting for children. What you don't know can definitely hurt you. I brought a map here. I think you guys can see that. More than a half of Miami Gardens, more than a half, is Brownsfield. Brownsfield means it's environmentally contaminated already. The experts, which I think you would accept me as an expert, but the experts say that when we have Formula One in the stadium, 2-mile radius of it would be environmentally contaminated at the end of the process. And the children would be impacted the most. The children would be impacted the most. And when they show up in school, what is going to happen? They say they can't learn. Most of the white teachers will say because they are black, but not because they are black, because of the environmental challenges that we already have in our neighborhood. Why would you want to take $1 billion to add to that? I think we don't want it. We don't want Formula One here. It wasn't needed in Miami Gardens, and I don't see any reason why anybody in this community should support Formula One. They know that it's not good for them. Why don't they do it in Coral Gables? Why don't they do it in Adventura? Why don't they find a way? It's on the street. Go do it there. I mean, we are all in Miami-Dade County. Why us? Why not the people, the downtown people say, hell no. So I'm saying that it is, Mr. Yes, I think my time
is up.
What?
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Vanessa Wilcox.
Good evening, panel, audience. My name is Vanessa Wilcox. I reside at 2000 Northwest 186th Street in Miami Gardens. I'm here to commend Ms. Odom on her effort of standing for us as the people in this community as well as our commissioner. The reason why I stand here is because I addressed an issue about this Formula One coming in our community, which there is a track already built. And if not so, with all the money that we know that's being put into this, just build your own track somewhere where it won't affect people in the residence. The thing that I look at is it was not transparent. Being transparent meaning you will be open and honest to the pros and the cons and the effect. So I, as one resident, says no to Formula One.
Thank you. Mr. Wendell James. After Mr. James, it'll be Ms. Harris, Joanne Harris.
Good evening. Wendell James, 18820 Northwest 29th Place. I'd just like to begin in thanking also our former Commissioner Betty Ferguson for initiating our city that we have today, that we can come here and iron out our differences. 16 years ago, after the charter was passed in the city of Miami Gardens that we would have a city of our own, we convened down to Dade County government. There we met 8 o'clock in the morning. And by the way, I was part of that charter commission. We met with the stadium, and we met with the racetrack as partners in the creation of this city. Well, go forward as a partner. You don't treat your partners like this. You treat them like real partners. In a sense, just like our Commissioner Barbara Jordan expressed. There are good initiatives that have come out of the stadium, but they still have to remember that we are partners. And you do not disrespect your partners, and you don't try to grow all by yourself. And if you do respect your partners, which is this community, you will not do the things that you are doing today. I applaud the commission, the city council, and all of those that came out to show the reason that they don't want Formula One. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. James. Ms. Harris.
Okay, I'm not sure of the procedure. My name is Joanne Harris, address 5020 Northwest 197th Street, 33055. The time that I have, may I give it over to Ms. Sabrina Fulton to finish addressing it? Is that acceptable?
45 seconds. You got to fill out a card.
Okay, I'm going to be quick. Sabrina Fulton, 16121 Northwest 18th Court. The only thing I wanted to say and add to the residents' comments was that we listened to an expert. We listened to Miami Dolphins, but we also listened to an expert to explain to us the effects of that racetrack coming to this area.
And so we probably have a jump on a lot of people, and they don't quite understand why we're saying that there are health risks, because we have listened to the expert. And so I would just encourage you all to maybe listen to the presentation that Commissioner Betty Ferguson had an expert to come in to one of the community meetings, and they explained it to us so that we understood. So we completely understand the risks, not only the traffic, but the noise, and also the deafness with the noise, and also the effects from the pollution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miles Patinas. Miles Patinas.
Good evening, Council. I'm Miles Pistorius. I work at Hard Rock Stadium for the Miami Dolphins.
Need your name and address, or the address.
Miles Pistorius, 6875 102nd Lane, 33076. I just wanted to say that, to echo what Mr. Holland was saying, we've invested over $700 million in this community with our stadium. We think we've been good partners at every opportunity with our partners here in Miami Gardens, and we appreciate all the support we've gotten from Commissioner Jordan over the years. But from everything from Jazz in the Gardens to the Orange Blossom Classic to help resolving litigation between the city and the county, which has generated significant funds for the city. We've even relocated our practice facility, which we broke ground on this year, and will bring more jobs and more opportunity and more development to the city. So all I would say is that this is a major event that will bring more jobs, more opportunity. We've offered a very attractive package of internships, STEM programs, obviously tickets and job opportunities in connection with this event. And we think, we're willing to continue that conversation. We think this resolution, frankly, is premature, and we'd like to continue the dialogue. And I know it's on the consent agenda, it's already passed, but we plan on continuing this dialogue. As far as the county commission, as Commissioner Jordan said, this is on the agenda next week. We hope to have it reconsidered there, and then we'll come back here to the city to continue the dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice Smith. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Janice Smith. I live at 20525 Northwest 21st Avenue, Lake Lucerne. I've been a resident of this community for 46 years. I want to thank you, Mrs. Odom, for bringing this to the forefront. I'm in support of her resolution 11.1. We do not want Formula One in a bedroom community.
Thank you. Ms. Deidre Anderson.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and panel. My name is Deirdre Anderson. I reside at 19020 Northwest 21st Avenue here in Miami Gardens, where I've resided for over 40 years. My concerns for Formula One. The first thing is I feel as though the residents did not have the input prior to the planning, and that is always a concern for me that we find out a little too late. And whether or not Hard Rock Stadium, a private enterprise, can close off our streets to host this race. Our health issues, hearing damage, tinnitus, environmental emissions that will be detrimental to our health. It's been rejected by other communities. Downtown doesn't want it. Homestead doesn't want it. I read somewhere where the Netherlands said no. $400 million will not profit this community if we're then dealing with cancer and other diseases from this enterprise. Our traffic impact will be horrible. We have health concerns, and it's total inconvenience. I've heard and read some people who will favor this Formula One. that say we already have the Super Bowl, but that's not a yearly event or a 10-year commitment. We have jazz in the gardens and soccer and tennis, but it doesn't impact the traffic where they're going to close off our streets. It's not a win for everybody that was quoted in the Miami Times. It's not a win for our residents. It's not a win for our children. It's not a win for our community. I would ask the Dolphin CEO, Tom Garfinkel, put it in your yard. I would ask the Miami Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, why not at your house? Thank you.
Lynette Hickenbottom.
Good evening, everyone. Lynette Hickenbottom, 20832 Northwest 25th Avenue, in the beautiful city of Miami Gardens, and I would like to keep it that way. Thank you, Councilwoman Oden. I live within the 2-mile radius. I would like to age gracefully. And concerning Jazz in the Gardens, I could hear the music from my house, and it's beautiful. I would like to continue that way, even though I'm an early senior citizen. I oppose Formula One. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Jennifer Najovi. Jennifer.
Good evening, council, member staff, and residents of Miami Gardens. My name is Jennifer Nahov, and I reside on 1731 Northwest 206th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. I am here representing the community of Lake Lucerne. I am also the president of the Lake Lucerne Neighborhood Watch. I'm here to represent my family. I'm here to represent the elderly in that community. I am here to represent our children in that community. I'm a mom also, and I have 2 kids, and I'm concerned about their health. Because with this formula race, what they are planning, I am praying against it. And I'm asking God to soften the hearts of whoever is involved in this plan, that he will give them a soft heart, that they will hear the cries of the community. This has nothing to do with us not trying to do what you want to do. It's about a community. We're living here. We know what we are going to have to deal with. When our kids are getting sick, none of these people will be around us to pick up the medical bill. None of these people will be around us to take our kids from the home to the emergency. They will not be found. We're going to have to pick up the pieces. The deafness, who's going to be there to help our children? Who's going to be there for our senior citizen? At least now they can enjoy what they can enjoy. With all the air pollution, the noise, the traffic is horrible. I pay taxes in this community, but whenever we have an event at the community, I either have to stay out or I'm stuck in my community. It's a one-way in, one-way out in Lake Lucerne, and that's a major concern. If anything happens, we're stuck. And it seems like we are talking about this subject and nothing is being done yet. And with this Formula One race, they're anticipating more traffic. So my family and myself and Lake Lucerne, we oppose Formula One race coming to our city of Miami Gardens. Thank you.
Fred Kemp. Fred Kemp. Make sure you guys keep your phones on vibrate or turn them off, please.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council, men and women, attorney, manager, clerk. I'm Fred Kemp. I reside at 20141 Northwest 14th Place, Miami Gardens, 33169. I'm quite sure you've seen my picture in the paper for the last 3 weeks. I am fully in disagreement with Formula One coming to Miami Gardens. I want to thank Miami-Dade Council, Commissioner Barbara Jordan, Betty Ferguson, former commissioner, and you, Councilman Lily Odoms, and putting this on the agenda, all three. As I said before, living at 20141 Northwest 14th Place, which is right up against the turnpike. And when they asked me that question at Northern Senior, I said, must I walk around wearing earmuffs on my ear? Must I wear a face mask the rest of my life? I'm 70 years old. I don't call myself a senior. I say I'm seasoned, S-E-A-S-O-N-D, a seasoned citizen. And with the illness, not the illness, but the maladies that I have with my body now, I wouldn't even be around if that formula racing come. It'll attack me first because it's going to hit me first. Then we have 3 elementary schools. We got Norwood, we got Parkway, we got Northern Middle, and then we got Northern Senior. All those schools are going to be affected right off. And like the gentleman here said, they're going to build us some hotels. That way, when we have a game here, they don't even recognize us as being, the Super Bowl was being in Miami Gardens. They say Miami. Give us the recognition that they're coming and using us. Give us that money where it stays here. Build those hotels. That's the revenue. That's what we want.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. Tina Alexander. Tina Alexander, you decline?
She's giving me her time.
Ms. Ferguson, you're up next.
Good evening. I am here to thank Councilwoman Lily Odom for sponsoring this resolution objecting to Formula One racing at Hard Rock Stadium. The resolution clearly tells the Dolphins and the F1 promoters who won a 10-year contract that the bedroom community of Miami Gardens is no place for a race that nobody else wants, that will block off a portion of 199th Street, creating more traffic nightmares than we already have. According to a lot of expert opinions, Formula One racing will poison our air and cause permanent hearing damage. The noise level ranges between 120 and 140 decibels, equivalent to a jet engine. The event will saturate our community with 195,000 people, which is the average attendance at F1 races. People who will go back to their nice, clean communities with their money in their pockets, or maybe they will spend it at the new Hard Rock Hotel in Broward County. The people in our community, our seniors, our babies, our children, especially our school children, will be left to suffer the negative, polluting, deafening effects. We don't want another Flint, Michigan. I hope our city officials will join us at the County Commission meeting on Tuesday, October the 29th, to let the county know that we don't want Formula One racing in Miami Gardens. I'm sorry that our mayor, who's supposed to be representing us, is not here tonight. If you cannot represent us and stand up for us at the city level, you surely can't do it at the county level.
Esther Martin.
excuse me, just the point of personal privilege. I put in my card, I watched all these people came in. I was sitting right there.
Your card is here.
Yeah.
Your
So I
card
sat
is
there
here.
and watched all them people.
Have a seat. Your card is here, Shannon. Everybody who signed a card is going to get an opportunity
Good
to speak.
evening. My name is Esther Martin. I live at. My name is Esther Martin. I live at 4335 Northwest 182nd Street, Miami Garden. I'm here tonight to say no to Formula One.
Thank you. Beverly Griffin.
Good evening. I live at 3580 Northwest 188th Street, and I oppose it also because even on the Dolphins game, there's a lot of traffic. You can't get to Walmart. You can't get to the gas station. And sometimes the cops are very, very nasty. When you're a citizen trying to get to Denny's or somewhere else, they turn you around. So I really oppose it. Okay.
Thank you. Tammy Mobley.
Oh, Ms. Mobley?
Next.
Hi, my name is Tammy Mobley, and I live at 3261 Northwest 213th Street in Miami Gardens. My home that I reside was my grandparents'. So we've been in our home since 1960. I've seen the many great changes, but I have a niece who is having a baby. I work with a lot of families who need help with their children that live in Lake Lucerne. Prime example, today I called Miami Gardens to tell them that the traffic light was out. When the kids got out of school at 1:50, it was crazy. There was no police. The crossing guards couldn't even stop the cross people because nobody was there to help. And to me, this is like another situation, Formula One. Where's the help? Do I want to die in a year with this in my backyard? I'm counting on you guys. Not them who live in our community. I'm counting on you guys. Thank you.
I know the game. Sharon Fraser Stevens.
Hold on, Ms. Fraser. Risa Chamorro, you're next. Then it'll be Helen Wells behind her. Then Francis Ragu. Go ahead.
Good evening, Councilman, Vice Mayor Harris, Count, City Attorney, City Clerk, City Manager. My name is Sharon Fraser Stevens, 145 Northeast 193rd Street. Recently, looked at Channel 6. I love to watch the county commission meeting. I am the chairwoman, newly elected chairwoman of the Opelika Miami Gardens Citizens Advisory Committee under the umbrella of District 1, Commissioner Barbara Jordan's district. As I sat down and watched Channel 6 News, two young females, Spanish females, interviewed a race car driver. He was Spanish. I heard the accent, maybe from South America somewhere. They asked him, where did he live? He said, I live in Brickell. He talked about all the famous and stuff, that all the clothing line and everything. He's a race car driver. Now, his son he's not driving no more. His son is driving. The first thing they say, oh, it's a good thing race car driving is coming to Miami. I said, lie, he tell. Formula One is coming to the great city of Miami Gardens. When I go down to the commission meeting, you can hear the people chirping in my ears about Miami Gardens, Old Myrtle Gardens. I say everything negative they want to say about Miami Gardens. But they don't want to take all the good positive things that's in the great city of Miami Gardens. May 13, 2003, before that term, I was out there on 441 with my 4 children, campaigning for this great city of Miami Gardens. Now I represent it down there at the county level. I get beat up, just like she did. In June, before the budget meeting, I heard some whispering, and they said, Formula One. Eileen Higgins said, not in my backyard. Commissioner Emerson, who's the chair? Where they going to stage the cars? Back there behind them where I'm going to have my museum, my black museum. She said, not there. She said, I'm going to tell you. She looked at Pepe Diaz and told Pepe, said, but our commissioner, and I'm telling all your people here, the same way you stand here, stand down there with her too. Because I stood up and say, hell no.
Linda Mobley. Oh, she already went? All right, well, it's...
Francis Ragu, 889 Northwest 214th Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33169. I believe it was November 18th, 1978, an evangelical preacher went to an area called Jonestown in Guyana and offered his people the Kool-Aid and promised all the good things about drinking the Kool-Aid. 900 and something people died as a result of the Kool-Aid. What we are hearing now is that Jim Jones is here again. We are not going to drink the Kool-Aid, and I hope you don't either. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ragu. Helen Wells.
Good evening. My name is Helen Wells. I live at 20625 Northwest 24th Avenue in Lake Lucerne. I am a retired Miami-Dade County public school teacher. Since I have retired, I work with some of the elderly in my community. I deliver meals to them twice a month. Now, one of the greatest concerns that I have with this Formula One coming is that I'm a walker, and I walk the trail nearly every day. And I think all of you know where the trail is located. We have a 3-mile trail over here, and on that trail are many elderly people. And my greatest concern would be the health issues. Those who are walking do not need to have to inhale or discontinue walking because of money, because that's what this project is all about. It is all about us sacrificing ourselves to bring this Formula One here when it is apparent that the majority of this community are totally against it. I am totally against it. When I'm speaking to people in my community and outside of my community, I am rallying them to speak against it and do whatever is necessary to try to help others to understand that it is not beneficial to the residents in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Risa Shamara. Risa Shamara. All right. Linda Mobley. After Miss Mobley, it'll be Marjorie Cross, Brenda Providence, and Janice Copeland.
Good evening. My name is Linda Mobley, and I live at 3261 Northwest 213th Street in Miami Gardens. I've been in the area since 1960, and all I want to say is I am against Formula One. I appreciate Councilor Lily Odom for bringing this on our agenda, and also Barbara Jordan for standing behind us, and Betty T. Ferguson. Thank you.
Marjorie Cross.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Councilwoman, Councilman, and to everyone in the audience. I just want to say my name is Marjorie Allen Cross. I live at 1425 Northwest, 193rd Terrace, Miami Garden, Florida, 33169. I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Lily Otim for putting this on the agenda, and also thank you to Commissioner Betty Ferguson and to Commissioner Barbara Jordan, and for all the people who are supporting us in this issue. I just want to say there's about 5 schools in the area, okay? And I have 2 grandsons that go to Norwood Elementary, which is very close to the stadium. And also I'm very concerned about all the children who it can affect and all the people, the adults also. And there's also a lot of residents in the area, and this is not good for us. Okay? To me, I always say everything is always brought here to Miami Garden. It's a beautiful city of Miami Garden. I've been living here over 34 years, but I'm concerned about the residents in the area, about my family, my children, my grandchildren, and I'm also concerned about what, we have an article here that talks about all the different things that it can cost. This article was just saying big business wins, but we get poisonous dust, we get damaging air pollution, we get traffic inconvenience, and we get light pollution. We have different things. Children could get deafness. I went to the meeting on the 17th that the commissioner put on, and the mayor, and I went to that meeting and we spoke about the different effects. It can cause long-term, it can cause immediate damage to the ear, hearing loss. Children are our future. If we allow this to happen, we could have children who are deaf. We could be deaf ourselves. We can have health problems and all these different problems. I want to say, please, I say no to this. I'm totally against it. God bless you all. Thanks to everyone for their support. Come to the commission meeting. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Brenda Providence.
Good evening. Brenda Providence, 2021 Northwest 154th Street. In 2008, I was fortunate enough to go to Formula One racing in Montreal, Canada. And we were invited by one of the gentlemen that was on the board for Formula One. We were in a place called the Paddock Club. If you Google it, you'll see it's $1,000 per person. This is where they had us. It was soundproof. We couldn't even see the race. We had a handheld device to see the race. If you wanted to physically see the race, you had to stand up in a chair and look over the side to see the race. They protected us, and we came from Tampa. I was living there at the time. The gentlemen that are here from the Miami Dolphins, with all due respect, that's where you'll be when Formula One comes to Miami Gardens, if that happens. You won't be out there hearing the noise like we will. You'll be in the Paddock Club. To the commissioners, shout out to Commissioner Ferguson. She's off the commission. She's not in politics anymore. What you do now will determine whether or not you're respected like she is. To Commissioner Barbara Jordan, same thing. We love you to death. We're watching politicians in Washington right now make decisions that we know they can't live with down the road, but they're doing it anyway. Don't do that to us. All love to Thunderbird, Lily Odom. Thank you.
Ms. Copeland.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council, and residents. Janice Coakley, 19681 Northwest 33rd Avenue. All we want to do is say, take the race to your neighborhood, stop environmental injustice in Miami Gardens. And I deal with Girl Scouts, so you know my children is not for sale. All right? It's about health. And I know elections is coming up for some people, but if you cannot stand up and vote against or speak against something that is an injustice to Miami Gardens, then we know that you are selling us down the road. I would like to thank Ms. Odom. You know, I call you Ms. Odom. Ms. Ferguson, and our Commissioner for Miami-Dade County. Also, I just want to remind people that if you want to join us out there, we will be out there every home game for the Dolphins home game. So from 10 to 2, and the next home game is November the 3rd, then it's November the 17th, December the 1st, and Super Bowl. If this cannot. Residents, we have all of you here tonight. Please, let's fill that corner up on Northwest 27th Avenue and 199th Street and bring your homemade signs. Come out and support and vote against Formula One. Thank you.
Mr. Dupree, Howard Dupree.
Howard Dupree, 1734 Northwest 192nd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida, 33056. In early April of this year, I was reading Google News late at night while I'm going to bed, and I read about, a racing magazine popped up. And I don't read racing magazines. I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. And there was an article about downtown Miami turning down Formula One racing. But really, what really perked my interest, though, was that the fact that the president of the Dolphins said, no problem, we'll just bring it to his stadium. And that perked my interest in even more. I continued to research information about Formula One racing. I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I knew something had to be done about this. So Betty Ferguson, former Commissioner Betty Ferguson, being my neighbor, I knew if I could convince her, she would take up this cause to probably stop this, to help stop it. So I called her in the middle of the night, and thank God she's still in this community, because I don't know where we would be if she wasn't here. Because my point here is that the Dolphins had no intent of letting us know about this until they had everything in place. So don't let them lead us to believe that they came to us to offer some kind of negotiations or anything like that. And there's no negotiations. Black people have the worst health I ain't gonna say the worst in the world, but our health is compromised compared to other folk that live in this community around the United States. There's no price to pay for a compromise on our health with the environmental issues that this race would bring to our community. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, and thank you for the resolution and your support.
Rivian Jerry. Ms. Jerry. Rivian Deshawn Jerry. Nope. Denise White.
Good evening, council members in your respective places. My name is Denise White. I reside at 1210 Northwest 179th Terrace, Miami Gardens. I thank you, Ms. Odom, for bringing this resolution up, being against it. Kudos. I speak against Formula One racing. For those of you that have not read the expert acoustical engineer's report, you should. It is fact and not fiction. And I want to thank former Commissioner Betty T. Ferguson for having this done. I want to thank Barbara Jordan for coming up and speaking for us as well. You, the council, I feel owe a duty to the community to protect us from any harm, hurt, or danger, especially our children, who are our future. They need to be given hope for the future and not have to worry about their health. Does this statement ring a bell? I heard on Hot 105, and the person is not here sitting down. He says, October is taking your family to the doctor month. Our community is living healthy together. Really? If you want this done, for this Formula One, please, I'm getting, then I talked to my 6-year-old granddaughter and explained to her while we were out there with our signs, and I explained to her the damaging effects. And I said to her, what do you think about that, Lily? She said, it's the right thing to do, Nana. This is coming from out of the mouth of babes. It is the right thing to do. Not to move by money, but growing for a healthier community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shirley Gibson.
Good evening. It's been a long time since I've been up here. I've only been here once before, so twice. Ms. Odom. Yes. Councilwoman Odom, my Thunderbird graduate, thank you very much for this honor. You did a good job. Thank you. I'm going to be brief. I'll do my 2 minutes and I'll be finished. I'm not going to talk about all of the hazards and all of that. Everyone has heard that. But I am going to talk about the fact every dollar is not a good dollar. Every job is not a good job. Every time you sit down to negotiate is not a good negotiating piece. We have history, and we know that. My folks, do not be misinformed and your actions about this issue. Please don't. We have had numerous times where our community have been promised all kinds of things, and it's never happened. But when the health and safety of our communities no longer belong to us, it changes. Briefly, I told some of my friends that at some point in time, and please don't be offended, a white female could walk over town by herself and nothing would happen to her. We are there now because we are not there. Please understand, we have most of this council is transitioning. I don't know where you will be going. Most elected officials go someplace else. But I take note in here, remember every face here, that if they do not vote for this issue when it comes back here, I don't care where they go to reside or where they go to become another elected official, I will never forget what you do here. I will never vote for anyone again if you don't stand up for us here. I don't care where you go. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm talking because we need to understand when you don't support us, we do not need to support you. And the other thing, when anyone comes to this community, if it's for the county mayor, if it's for any positions that they need to get a vote out of this city, if they have not treated us right, do not vote for them. I have about 5 votes in my house and all my nieces, and when I tell them don't vote for somebody, they are not going to vote for them. I'm just telling you, I am upset about it. I'm not mad, because you can't focus when you're mad. But please know, as an elected official, we are here, I've been elected, but one of the most devastating things for an elected official is want to get voted into another office and they can't get it. It's about the only thing that disturbs us. About the only thing. So I'm saying, members of this city, if you are not treated right, Do not forget who didn't treat you right. I don't care. It's not a threat. And I want to thank Commissioner Ferguson. You are always in politics, so don't say you're not. You are always in politics, so you already know that. Thank you so much for having us here. And being down there on the 29th, it is important for our elected officials in this city, because when the other officials see that you come down there to support us, it will change what they do. Thank you.
Mr. Joe Perkins.
Commissioners, thank you so much for allowing me to speak, and thank you to the citizens of Miami Gardens. I'm not here to speak on this issue. I'm a candidate for judge here in Dade County, and I see many familiar faces in this room, perhaps because I was the only judicial candidate on the ground every day for 2 weeks in Miami Gardens at the North Dade Regional Library, interfacing directly with the voters. I come to Miami Gardens very often, even though my race is countywide, because it's energizing, because the citizens of Miami Gardens are among the most engaged citizens in this county, and I go to a lot of these meetings. So thank you to each one of you. I see you listening so attentively to the citizens and the voters, and thank you all for being here tonight. It energizes me and gives me the spirit to continue. Again, my name is Joe Perkins. Thank you so much.
Are there any other public comments on this item? No more public comments on this item. Public comments are closed. There's no ordinances on for first reading or second reading. No resolutions that requires a public hearing. So,
Mr. Vice Mayor,
yes.
I have a comment
Go ahead.
and a question. This is for the city attorney or the city manager. Two questions. Based on our legal or quasi-legal relationship with the stadium, is there anything that limits our ability to support this item?
I don't know of anything that prohibits you from, it's a resolution expressing opposition to the race, so no.
Okay.
We don't have and we don't have a quasi-legal relationship with them, just to be
Thank you. Second, if this passes, which is obvious, and the county commission votes to allow Formula One racing in our streets, what recourse remedy do we have in controlling this activity in our city?
You don't well, right now you have a zoning code that allows races, so the only way that a race would not be allowed, this has nothing to do with the closure of 199th Street, of course, that's within the county's purview. But right now, the zoning code allows them to have races. So if the county, when you say the county allows, I'm not sure under what vehicle that would happen. The county would probably, I don't know how that would happen. But we'd have to look at it at the time, because I'm not sure how it would happen, because they have, as a matter of right now, inside the stadium, they could have the race. But they don't have a right to have the street closed, which is the part that I guess the county's, under the county's control right now. Ms. Jordan probably could speak better to that than I can.
To be clear, in terms of sequence, there is a county commission meeting. The county commissioner is going to bring this up, or bring an item opposing Formula One in our city. If that item fails at the county level, what recourse does the city have?
I'm still not understanding. If I need to understand if it comes to the county for what, to close the street?
I don't know the
right now it's permitted in the zoning districts right now.
I don't know the nature of her item yet. If our item, because I'm assuming this item, she supports this item, which she has supported. And if she's bringing a similar item, this item, to the county, to the county commission meeting to oppose Formula One in our city, And if that item fails, what can we do to stop it, if we can?
I don't know of any recourse, because I don't know what recourse they would have to stop it as it is right now, because it's permitted in the zoning district. But I'll let Ms. Jordan, if she wants to address that, you can speak to her directly about what her intentions are.
We didn't open this up. Then no one pulled this item to discuss this on the day.
I was going to pull it, and I have the right to ask a question if she wants to answer it. We're finished.
Public comments.
I can't answer the question because I don't know how and what.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'll allow the commissioner to answer that question. I'll allow it.
I think I have to take the long way around to kind of explain how we got to where we are now. There was an item put on the agenda in 2018 by Commissioner Pepe Diaz that basically, at the time, that item was put on the agenda for the approval of the Formula One race coming to Miami. At the time when that item was on the agenda, it has been stated by someone else here, there was a question asked by Commissioner Edmondson about where the staging would be, and the answer was Parcel B. Parcel B lies in her district, and she said no. That item excluded Parcel B, and I'm bringing that up because the intent of the item that was sponsored by Pepe Diaz clearly indicated, based on the way it was described, that the Formula One race would be in downtown Miami. That was in 2018. A report was supposed to come back to the board. That was May 2018. A report was supposed to come back, basically negotiations, the agreement between the sponsors of Formula One was supposed to have an agreement to come to the county in July 2018. That did not happen. It did not happen because the city of Miami and the county did not approve for the race to happen. So there was no agreement for the Formula One race to go to the city of Miami. The residents objected, the businesses objected, the port objected because the course that they were supposed to have would have blocked off the entrance to the Port of Miami. The Formula One race is a 3-day event, not 1 day, and it would have been for 10 years. So I've taken the long way around to say to you that all of a sudden, as has been stated before, because you have a leader and an owner who serves on the board for Formula One, who owns a stadium, you have a venue there. It was put into the item of allowable activities for the stadium, racing. Now, in terms of it being by right on the premises, one of the things that we noticed was that because you want to go outside of the stadium proper and want to close 199th Street, that's the only time that we felt that we could make a dent in what would happen. So I sponsored an item that is on the agenda for the 29th because if permission was given for the road closure for 199th, it could automatically be done without coming to the commission. It could be done administratively. I didn't want that to happen. So the item that I have on the agenda takes it away from administration and gives it to the commission. That's the item that we're going to be voting on the 29th. For the commission, for any road closure related to racing would come before the Board of County Commissioners because to me, it's a bigger issue when you're talking about closing a road, and the repercussions that come from that. But in addition to that, when you think about the fact that there is a right in terms of racing, I'm sponsoring, and I'm sure the county, your city attorney can chime in if she needs to. I'm sponsoring another item that's also on the agenda on the 29th that changes it. It still leaves the automatic, the term racing in the guidelines. However, it also puts in the new requirement, an additional requirement, that they must come before the city and the county based on our joint agreement for a special permits, I don't know the real term.
Oh, Mayor. Go ahead. Special exception, and that's the one you're going to sponsor. I think the mayor is our mayor is planning on sponsoring on your level, but Commissioner Jordan is taking it first to the Board of County Commissioners.
Right. That is also on the agenda for first reading because it's an ordinance. And what it does is that it says that anytime you're going to have a race in the community on Dolphin Proper Stadium property, that they would come before and apply for the special events permit and provide you with all of the stipulations that need to happen in terms of them being eligible to get that permit. It would have to pass the city, and it would have to pass the county. So that item is also on the agenda. When I learned that we had no recourse in terms of by right in a community, Miami Gardens and Miami-Dade County should never put profit over people. Never. And I understand the benefits and the privileges that we have gotten as a result of having the stadium there. But it was because of the wisdom of a group of active people and by the luck of the draw that they were effective, that we don't have the traffic going down 17th Avenue, 22nd Avenue, and 25th Avenue because of the activation of Commissioner Betty Ferguson. Otherwise, we would have had the same kind of traffic jam that we now have on 27th Avenue. So I know I've gone a long way around. It kind of tells you how we got to where we are and the predicament that we're in. But I have the attorneys looking at every avenue, including environmental justice. Because to me, racing, especially this type of racing, should not be in bedroom communities.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Jordan, for providing the context and also the corrective measures that I think I was trying to allude to. Let me just say this. In terms of this issue, I consider it, I'm going to use three framework of process, evidence, and people. I consider it unfortunate, especially because we had what I consider to be an inadequate and unfortunate reality for this item to be before us today, especially because there is no prior engagement from our partners at the stadium. The first I heard of this initiative was about a month ago or two when Commissioner Jordan had her town hall meeting at Miami Nolan Senior High School. As a matter of good public policy and civic engagement, I would have expected that for a project as monumental as this, there should have been better communication and coordination between the community groups, elected officials, and most importantly, our residents. I want to make it very clear, for anyone that intends to do business with our city, we do not have a monarch or king. We have elected representatives of this community, and I, for one, will always speak as a mouthpiece for the community that elected me. Evidence. I point to evidence one. The evidence from my research shows that Monaco, France, is the only occupied city in the world where Formula One racing takes place. Every other city and country, and I've looked at some in Europe, where Formula One racing takes place, is typically in a remote part, quite far removed from dense residential neighborhoods. Point number two. This same Formula One concept was initially contemplated, as we've heard, with the city of Miami and was quickly abandoned. If it is not good for Miami, why is it good for Miami Gardens? If the city of Miami has refused to have a speedway run through its corridors, why do we want to run the high-speed racing down our neighborhood? We know too well the devastating impact of projects. Example, I-95 that decimated Overtown, Miami. Point number three. I cite, as I concede to the fact that the evidence of environmental hazard, I also acquiesce that with certain developments we expect some level of inconvenience, like traffic that we experience in burdensome levels sometimes when we have major games in the city. But the risk of the hearing disability is one that I am not prepared to assume for our children and our families in this community. As an educator, I have seen overwhelming evidence documenting the correlation between hazardous environmental factors like noise pollution and other environmental disturbances and learning disability in children. If you want more reference, look at the landmark study entitled Savage Inequality by Jonathan Kozar. I don't know about you, but I need peace of mind. Peace of mind. The good book says, let there be peace in the valley, but let there be peace in Miami Gardens. You've heard the saying, no justice, no peace. We all know we don't need research to let us know we need peace of mind. In Miami Gardens, this is our refrain. To the Hard Rock Stadium, to Formula One, and to Miami-Dade County Commission, we are saying no peace, no justice. Lastly, people. Ultimately, this is about protecting people. The life, health, and sanctity of mind for our children and our families, in my estimation, takes precedence over any marginal economic benefit that may or may not come out of this. What does it profit a man, the book says, if he gains the whole world and lose his soul? We need peace of mind, not pieces of your money. No peace, no justice. Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, can you go ahead and read the consent agenda, please?
Item 11, consent agenda. Item 11.1, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, objecting to the proposal of Formula One racing at the Hard Rock Stadium, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Lily Q. Odom. Item 11.2, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, recognizing October 25th, 2019 as Florida Memorial University Alumni Weekend and waiving fee usage for the use of the SHOWMOBI, providing for instructions to the city manager, providing for adoption representation, providing an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilman Airborne Iguodaro. Item 11.3, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, awarding request for proposal RFP 18-19-013 to United States Service Industries, Inc. for janitorial services. Authorize the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for this purpose in an amount not to exceed $157,163 annually, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the city manager. Item 11.4, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, ratifying and approving the collective bargaining agreement between Teamsters Local 769 and the City of Miami Gardens, Florida for a period of from October 1st, 2019 through September 30, 2022. And this item is sponsored by the City Manager. Item 11.5, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, canceling the November 27, 2019 and December 25, 2019 City Council meetings, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by the City Clerk. Item 11.6, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing waiver of fees and costs associated with the use of Lester Brown Park for FMU alumni picnic, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon. Item 11.7, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Miami Gardens, Florida, authorizing rental fee waivers as well as waiving costs of staff for the use of the Betty T. Ferguson Recreational Complex Amphitheater to hold a free music in a park concert on Friday, December 6, 2019, providing for adoption representation, providing for an effective date, and this is sponsored by Councilwoman Katrina Wilson, and that is your consent agenda.
I need a motion on the item.
Motion?
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Also, Mr. Clerk, show that the mayor, in his absence, he wanted to vote yes for the consent agenda as well.
Duly noted.
Consent agenda passes.
All right. There are no items under resolution. There are no quasi-judicial items. Now we're on to item 14, reports to the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk.
Mr. Manager?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor, I don't have a report. I do want to offer my condolences to Councilman Leon and his family in regards to his mother. And I want to congratulate the police chief and her staff for a well-run activity this past Saturday, the Stop the Violence event. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam
I don't
Attorney?
have a report.
Mr. Clerk?
Just one friendly reminder to the city council on the numerous boards that we do have active. I wanted to remind the council to provide appointments to the complete count census board that we've approved at the last meeting. To the residents, we have applications to advisory board applications. If you're interested on serving on an advisory board application, there's applications on the table outside of the door. And that's all for my report.
Councilman Iguodaro?
No report.
Councilwoman Wilson? No report? No? No? Queen?
I don't have a report, but what I would like to do is I really would like to thank our entire citizens that have come out tonight in support of this. And I want to also encourage each of you to continue to stand for what is right in your community. Thank you all for being out here tonight.
Mr. Williams?
Several things. I don't know whether this is a typo on the agenda, but when it says reports by the mayor and city council, it says 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Is that a question for the manager? Or
It says 3 minutes each.
Well, I didn't know we had a restriction on our talking time.
Well, to speak on that, that's been on the agenda for quite some time now, but I don't believe we've been timing it like that. I think that's all I can say to that.
Okay, then. I think it's something we need to look at.
and not have that on the agenda. The second thing, I just want to let the residents know that on October 30th, we're having our first parent meeting on the science fair for this year. This is the 9th annual science fair, and I'm hoping that you all will push your schools and those principals to participate this year, as most of them has done in the past. We really appreciate that coming. Also, I wanted to speak on our science fair this year is going to be again in December, the first week. This is the 9th annual science fair. We've gotten great support from businesses and communities in the city, and we want to continue that. We're trying to make this a really, really big community-based science fair also. So not only are the schools going to be involved, but we want the community to come out and participate. The award ceremony is going to be at St. Thomas on Monday the 8th, and on Tuesday the 9th, it will be at Florida Memorial University for our award ceremony. Thank you.
Again, let's keep Councilman Leon in your prayers. Last Saturday, the domestic violence walk turned out to be a really great success, and I want to commend the police department for the diligent work they put forth. I don't have any other reports.
Before you adjourn, I just want to give kudos, praises, and everything that we can give to this council. I really appreciate, and I think the community appreciates the fact that you put people over profit.
Thank you.
And keep in mind that we are having the meeting on the 29th. It is absolutely critical because of what we're up against.
What time is your
meeting?
meeting?
The meeting starts at 9:30. The public comment is the first thing on the agenda. That's the only time you will get an opportunity to speak. So fill out a speaker's card. But I definitely would hope to see every one of you, and especially everybody from the community. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your cousin and your brother, all your neighbors, to show up in the county chamber. I don't want to see a seat vacant. I want Miami Gardens to fill up the chamber. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Madam Commissioner. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
We moved and seconded, meeting adjourned.